Strictly Medicinal Materia Medica series, Mandrake officinalis. Date, June 4th, 2018. Time, afternoon. The mysterious mandrake. This the official form of the plant. Mandrake officinalis. See how I've got it planted next to a rock, and see how the bed for planting is prepared with plenty of coarse, sharp sand, volcanic cinder, and volcanic pumice. Underneath each plant I've put 2 cups of ground limestone to alkalinize the soil. Mix that in with more sand. Transplant is during the growth phase of the plant, when it has its green parts showing. Transplant of the dormant root tends to lead to disappointment. It can stay dormant for several years before again making aerial parts. You can see how I've kind of cordoned off an area for the mandrake patch here, and I've got the plants marked with stakes, and also I have them marked with large rocks and planted on the edge of rocks. This is a full sun xeric environment. Off to the side here we have some of our Cech lavender, which is starting to come on in the spring now. Some creeping rosemary, which is currently flowering. Here's some Spanish bayonets, the yucca. These are gum weeds along the edge. You can see last year's parts have been cut off. They're brown, and then underneath the fresh green new plants coming up. These are all plants of a xeric environment, so we barely water this area. Maybe once or twice in the winter if it's not rainy and the plants are trying to establish their aerial cycle, because they start to appear around January, and then they go into flowering stage, and right now they're in the fruiting stage. Just the beginnings of little green fruits clasped inside there, and then those will swell up to about the size of small tomatoes. I consider the fruits to be edible, but the seeds definitely not edible, and the root certainly, and the leaf not edible. But I have eaten the fruits alone with no ill effects, except perhaps to feel just a little bit weird. But mainly the scopolamine is in the seeds, the root, the leaves, and this is considered to be a very powerful agent, almost a toxic agent, a narcotic and sleep inducer, also considered to be responsible for creating strange delirium and madness among those that come into contact with the plant. I haven't experienced any greater delirium and madness living around the mandrakes than I think I was responsible for before I had mandrakes, but in any case, it's powerful medicine not to be played with. Even the vibes are a little bit, how can I put it, avaricious at times, and it creates in humans a sort of leaning towards greed, I've noticed. So I watch out for that in working with the plant and try to keep my energy really grounded. Basically, I do it for the plant, and that seems to work pretty well. The smaller ones here are 2 or 3 years old. The older ones may be as old as 15 or 20 years. They get giant roots that delve deep into the earth. They can go 2 or 3 feet down into the earth. Arm-like, often shaped like a mannequin or a man shape. There's a little California poppy coming on. I think I'll leave that there. That should be pretty. Some Greek oregano back in there. A dry, alkaline environment. That's the secret. Beyond that, just to enjoy. Mandragora.